Nothing bad ever happens. Things happen. The universe happens. The world, as somebody said, the world isn't as it is, the world is as you are. The world is as you make it. Nothing bad happens. Things happen, and then you assign an emotion or a feeling, or you assign the meaning to whatever happened. You assign the meaning to it. All things do happen, though, I believe, for a reason. And in everything bad, in everything that you give the meaning of bad to that happens, there's always a lesson in it because it happened for a reason. Usually, it happens because of your own actions or inactions. Like Newton's laws of, like one of Newton's laws of physics. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Any action you take or any action you don't take will have an equal and opposite reaction against you. Now, if you put the meaning of it, if you put meaning to that reaction as bad, then that means that your initial action or lack of action was also bad. I'm going to use a relationship, for example. In relationships, a lot of the times before relationships go bad or before something happens, one of the partners will come to the other and express their needs. Try to tell them what they're needing, what they're lacking, what the partner's not doing for them, or what they would like for the partner to do for them. 9 times out of 10, the partner that is lacking, the partner that is coming to the other partner and telling them what they need, isn't listened to. And so from that, something happens. Now the partner that was the one being talked to, being requested to step up and do something or to stop doing something, they chose not to listen, or they chose to put their focus somewhere else, or they chose not to take action or keep continuing to not take action, whatever it is. That led to the quote unquote negative actions of the other partner. Now the problem is 9 times out of 10, the finger is pointed at the partner that did the wrong action. And we all know the old saying, anytime you point a finger at somebody, there's 4 fingers pointing back at you. Well, had you not been stuck in your own world, had you not been stuck in your ways, had you listened, had you given your partner what they needed, then that partner would not have went on to do the actions that you deemed as negative or bad. So who's at fault? Whose fault is it? It's easy to point the finger to somebody else. It's really easy to point the finger to somebody else and say, well, you shouldn't have done what you did. Very, 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 very few people will stop and look internally and say, well, you know what? You tried coming and talking to me. You tried telling me what you need and I didn't give it to you. You tried telling me that you need me to stop doing this and I didn't stop doing it. You tried multiple times telling me and I didn't listen. So that's where the learning experience comes in. Do you choose to stick with your ego and your pride and move on? Or do you choose to take that learning experience and grow better? Grow into the person that you're supposed to be, the person that you were supposed to have been, the person that your partner was requesting that you be, and yet you chose not to be that. Whose fault is it? And is what happened bad? If it makes you a better person, if it turns you If it helps you transcend that lesser self, and if it helps you to live a life that's more in alignment with your higher self, was that bad? So many times you hear people say that something that happened to them is the worst thing that could have happened. I listened to some prison YouTube channels, and some of the most enlightened, successful people look back and say, you know, that prison term was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. People that are not enlightened, people that play the victim, people that didn't learn from the lesson that the universe was trying to teach them about saying, hey, stupid, quit fucking doing what you're doing. You need to do the right thing. You're not doing it. You're going to have problems. They chose not to listen. Then they played the victim. And now they're saying, well, this bad thing happened to me. There's a, I think it's a Chinese parable. And there was a farmer, and his only source of income was the horse he used to plow the fields. One day his horse ran away, and the neighbors came to him and asked what happened. He said, you know, he told him that the horse ran away, and the neighbor said, well, that's the worst thing that could have happened. That's so terrible. And the farmer goes, I don't know, maybe. 2 days later, that horse comes back with 3 other wild horses. Now the neighbors come in and say, wow, look at that. You have 4 horses now. You can make so much more money. You could do so much more. He goes, they said, you know, that's the best thing that could have ever happened. Farmer goes, I don't know, maybe. Next day, the farmer's son is outside trying to tame the horses, and he's trying to break one of the horses. And the horse throws him and breaks the farmer's son's leg. Again, the neighbors come over, ask what happened. The farmer tells them, and they say, well, that's just the worst thing that could have happened. That's so terrible. Again, the farmer says, I don't know, maybe. A week later, the draft comes. The land is at war. All the young men are dying or being permanently maimed and injured in war. It's a brutal, terrible war. And the draft comes to the farmer's house, and they say, hey, we want to draft your son. He needs to come to war. They go and look at the son, see that his leg's broken. He's not fit for war. So they leave the house and let him be. Now, what happened? What's bad? What's bad and what's good? If something happens at that moment, we have no idea if it's something bad or good. The meaning that we give to it at that moment may be bad, but what the universe has planned, we don't know. All we can do is learn from it.